What's up, friends? Today I'm going to share some basic breathing drills on how we can synchronize our breath with our movement. This is based off of the oxygen advantage method. What we're doing here is we're allowing our carbon dioxide levels to build just a little bit during our functional exercise patterns. This might be contrary to what your strength coaches have told you, or maybe your yoga teacher has told you, or just general advice that you may have heard, especially in regarding to fitness, but also just regarding to everyday life. Now, a lot of times what you'll see people doing is taking a deep breath in. You see this especially with weightlifters when they take a really deep breath in, and what that tends to do is that deep, large breath tends to get stuck in the chest. Now, when we breathe through oxygen advantage method, we're breathing light. So we're breathing through the nose, and just when we just breathe lighter and through the nasal passageway, the biomechanics of that breath is going to be more likely to go to the lower part of the diaphragm. So if you just want to practice, what you can do is place your hands on your floating ribs or on your lower back and just take a breath in and out. And you should start to feel a little bit of pressure. So the ribs should feel like they widen out, or you should feel the breath entering into your hands. But now we're not going to necessarily need to focus on that, but that's the biomechanics of the breathing. Now, the biochemistry of the breathing is when we take these breaths in, we're not forcefully taking a lot of air out. That allows the carbon dioxide levels to build a little bit higher than normal. That increases the circulation of our body because carbon dioxide is vasodilating. So this is a great way to warm up because you're increasing your circulation, you're getting more oxygen to your brain, you're getting more oxygen to the rest of your body. So it's kind of paradoxical that you breathe less, but you get more circulation. So what we'll do is you stand, if possible, with your feet facing straight ahead, and we're going to start with squats. We take a light breath in. So the rule is that you shouldn't hear the breath in when you go down, and there shouldn't be a large volume of air on the way in. So it's just a normal breath in when you go down, and an exhale when you go up, but not a big breath out. Now, I just demonstrated 5. Normally what you can do is about 10. I'm checking in, and I can see just from that slow controlled rep where I have full control over my tempo and also breathing a little bit light, I can feel that my heart rate increased a little bit. Now, if I wasn't aware of my breathing, I would over breathe, and then I actually wouldn't feel the increase of my heartbeat, and I wouldn't feel what we call air hunger. So I'd be robbing myself of the benefits of exercise. So I don't have to do a lot of squats and go really fast in order to get that out of breath feeling. I can just do slow repetitions and breathe less and alter my chemistry in order to get those benefits, and also to get less of the free radical damage that's associated with over breathing as well as mouth breathing. So my recovery from my exercise is going to be much faster. So next, for your basic exercise, and I would recommend doing this in the morning on a fasted state. That's how I like to do it, because there's even more benefits from exercise, if you do it fasted. It's increasing the exercise, it's increasing the benefits of intermittent fasting, as well as increasing the benefits that you get hormonally from your exercise. So the next one that you can do is push-ups. Now, if you struggle with push-ups, you can always do them kneeling. But if you're fine with a full plank position, then you're going to do it like that. I like to have the index fingers facing straight ahead. Have the heels driving back, a little bit of tension through the abs or the quads. Try to have your spine straight. And then the same thing, it's going to be a light breath in when you lower, and exhale. You can walk up, stretch your hamstrings on the way up, and now just check in. And I just demonstrated 5. If you go up to 10, when you come up, if you do it right, you'll probably feel a little bit of an urge to breathe in more when you're done. And a good way to recover, instead of just going for that deeper, larger breath, you can place your hands back to your ribs or your lower back like we started, and breathe just enough to regulate your state so that it doesn't create a big stress response, but you also don't over breathe. And if you do that within 6 breaths, you should feel recovered and like you're back to not having a feeling of air hunger or breathlessness. And by doing that, you're increasing what in science is known as interoception. But it's pretty much the internal awareness and your ability to regulate your breath, to also regulate your nervous system. So I hope you found this video helpful. Comment down below what your breath and movement practice is, and I'll see you next time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Because you can always edit this. Why is it important to have your breath going down to your diaphragm as opposed to keeping it in your chest?
Because diaphragmatic, that's a great question.
Thank
So
you.
our diaphragm is actually a muscle, and our diaphragm is the only muscle besides the heart that, well, there might be another, but the diaphragm and the heart are the 2 main muscles that are involuntary. So because of that, if we don't breathe diaphragmatically, we can actually atrophy our diaphragm. And then over time, our diaphragm will lose function. The only other way to strengthen your diaphragm is to do larger, longer, and stronger breath holds. There's a saying that says, breath holding is the new strength training. And that's because, I'm gonna cover this in another video, but if you were to hold your breath longer, and this is contraindicated if you're pregnant, if you have cancer or some diseases, and also I wouldn't do it on a full stomach, but for normal healthy people in most circumstances, this is a great practice to do. And if you do a longer breath hold, then your diaphragm starts to have involuntary muscular contractions. And that is one way to strengthen your diaphragm. But if you're not doing breath holding, then you want to do breathing light, like we discussed, and using your hands as a sensory. And sometimes you can even massage into your ribs, or just putting your hands there because you have mechanoreceptors that are only respond to touch. And then that builds actual body awareness on the location of your diaphragm. And then by breathing light and not having the air get stuck in the chest, it'll naturally start to go lower. then your diaphragm gets a gentle movement, and that's going to help to prevent atrophy of the diaphragm, as well as bringing the oxygen lower. So there's multiple levels of the benefits there. Thank you. I'll see you guys next time.